Remember the 1984 classic Gremlins? Remember those adorable little mogwai? Oh, they're so cute. Gizmo. Remember that? They were so adorable. That's what we're going to talk about this episode of Remake This Movie Right. We're going to tackle the Joe Dante classic, Gremlins. Does it stay in Kingston Falls? Do we still need the bathroom buddy? What about those rules? Do they make any sense? We're going to find out, because right now it is time to remake this movie right. Hello, my fellow cinematic architects, and welcome to Remake This Movie Right. We are a member of the Hollywood Outsider Network. You can listen to episodes of Remake This Movie Right every other week at iTunes, where we really appreciate you taking the time to review us. You can also listen on Stitcher, our RSS feed, or on our main website. Go to either remakethismovieright.com or thehollywoodoutsider.com. Either one will lead you to our show. Always remember, if you listen to this show, at the end of it, you're like, that idea was stupid, made no sense, I've got a better one. Make sure to email us at remakethismovieright@gmail.com. That's remakethismovieright@gmail.com. And during our teaser episodes, we might read your pitch on the show. So if you think you got a better idea for the movie we're going to talk about, be sure to let us know. What is Remake This Movie Right? First, I'm going to tell you what it's not. We're not going to rehash the movie that you've already seen. We're not going to talk about it for a whole hour, whatever that time frame is that some podcasts do, because there's a lot of other ones that do it, and they do it better than we ever could. This show is about the remakes of those movies. Everything that we loved as children is getting remade these days. So we thought, why not take the original film that has an actual remake in the works right now, figure out what still clicks, what doesn't, and then we'll determine exactly how Hollywood should remake it. So instead of letting them continue to ruin our childhoods, we're going to do the work for them, because we know how to ruin our own childhoods better than they ever could. That's right. By the end of this episode and every episode, we will have the remake ready to roll for Hollywood execs, and we are going to pitch it to all of you first. Who should play the lead? Should a movie like Waterworld shake things up and take place on land? Should we have rabid baboons, like we learned in the last episode? Turns out, yes, we should. Maybe we should have, neon radioactive fish or something? I don't know what Brian's trying to plug.
Jellyfish.
Jellyfish, yes. Got to have that. Whatever it is, there are no limits. Anything can happen. We are here to tell Hollywood how to remake this movie right. I am your host, Aaron Peterson, and joining me today, also from the Hollywood Outsider, is Brian Williams. Brian.
Hello.
What's going on? You had a lot of fun the last one, right?
Oh yeah. I think we're on to something good here, man. I'm looking forward to diving into this one.
Now, joining us this week from underthedomeradio.com, as well as the Blacklist Exposed podcast, Troy Heinrichs. He's been on a couple other Ho episodes. How's it going, Troy?
Great. Just got back from Tomorrowland.
Oh, you went and saw it again?
No.
Oh, you literally just came back.
That's great. Just came back.
How is George Clooney? I've missed him.
He's still grumpy.
Oh, he probably, he saw the box office receipts on that.
Yeah, Jurassic World ate his lunch.
Are you excited to do this?
I am. I love this movie. It's going to be great.
Oh, I hope we tear it apart. For this episode of Remake This Movie Right, we are remaking Gremlins. So let me tell you a little bit about the original, okay? The original Gremlins was written by Chris Columbus, who is famous for Home Alone and several other things. It was directed by Joe Dante, who did the original Howling, by the way, which is also getting remade. I'm sure he's very sad these days. And it starred Zach Galligan as Billy, Phoebe Cates as Kate. Oh, Phoebe Cates, everybody loved her. Hoyt Axton as the dad, Randall Peltzer. Polly Holliday is that heartless wench, Mrs. Deagle. And even a young Corey Feldman, sans Corey Haim, as Pete. The movie grossed $153 million domestically. It was what the kids call a hit. The movie centered around a young man who inadvertently broke 3 important rules concerning his new pet and unleashed a horde of mischievous monsters on a small town. Aww, it was very sad. I think we all saw this when it came out, right? I saw it in the theater. You guys see it in the theater?
I did.
Troy said he loved it. Brian, were you a big fan of it, or is this kind of, it's not really a classic?
I was, and even bought the record, soundtrack on LP after it was out.
They had a record?
Yep.
Yeah, the soundtrack for the movie.
Oh.
Ding, 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 ding. It sounds great.
Yeah, it was just pretty much that song like 12 times in a row.
Running on the background.
It's like 12 times in a row. Okay, well, I loved it too. But do you remember when you saw it as a kid and it was just terrifying? Not so much now. Not so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a whole lot of nostalgia when you're thinking about, oh yeah, let's watch Gremlins. And then, you realize that when you start watching Gremlins.
It's like, oh, yeah, that wasn't nearly as beautiful as I thought it was. But I did get a couple of quick trivia bits from the original movie just to kind of share with everybody. Let me know if you guys know about these. The set for Kingston Falls is actually the same one that was used for Back to the Future. Anybody know that?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. In Chinese, Mogwai means devil, demon, or gremlin.
Ooh.
This is a pretty well-known fact with film buffs, but I don't know how many, people, casual listeners, maybe have never heard this. But Gremlins and Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom are the two movies that are credited with creating the PG-13 rating because they felt the movie was too dark for PG, but not dark enough for an R. I assume both of you guys knew that.
I did do that. Yep.
I know for Temple of Doom, I didn't realize Gremlins also was in that category.
Absolutely. Well, there you go. Hey, we've already enlightened somebody today. I feel like we've accomplished something. All the Gremlins are animatronic, and Gizmo was originally supposed to turn into Stripe, but producer Steven Spielberg overruled it. I thought that was a fun little fact. I did not know that.
Whoa.
Yeah. Gizmo was supposed to be Stripe.
That's weird.
Now,
Wow.
how do you
He probably saw the marketing potential in that.
Well, yeah, look
He
how
said, nah.
adorable Gizmo is. Adorable.
Adorable.
I
I bought one.
Did you really? Did it work?
Yeah, the plush one.
Did it actually speak and stuff?
No, just it was cute.
No, that was Teddy Ruxpin.
Yeah, Teddy. Put bigger ears on Teddy Ruxpin, and you're pretty close.
Oh. And finally, one of the most popular pieces of information, but still a lot of people don't know this. Howie Mandel is actually the voice of Gizmo, and all of the Gremlins were voiced by Police Academy's Michael Winslow. So if you didn't know those two little tidbits, huh? That's right. Howie Mandel had a career before that game show.
I do remember seeing his name in the credits. I just never really took the extra step and looked that up, what he actually did, but that's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
The question is, did he hum the song, or did somebody else hum the song for him?
I don't know. Actually, I don't know. Do you know?
I don't.
Well, I think let's put the podcast on hold and call Joe Dante and see if he'll take our calls. Hang on.
I'll just shoot him a text. Hang on.
Oh, wow, you got it memorized, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Aw, that's so cute.
I even took my plush Gizmo to make sure that it would never go near the bath or the sink or anything because I was just so scared what was going to happen, even though it was just a plush toy.
You sound like a pansy little boy. I'm just saying. You got your
I was 8. I was 8 when it came out,
you got
man.
your stuffed little Gizmo. Why are you talking to me? I love you. You probably threw water on him, tried to stick chicken down his throat. Well, here's how this show works. Remake This Movie Right. Here's how it works. We break it down into 3 parts. We talk about the original and what works and what doesn't work. And don't worry, we're not going to go through every scene and we're not doing that. What we're doing is basically, here's stuff that has to be in our remake. Here's stuff that we don't want in our remake. Then we determine nostalgic moments. That's part of looking at the original. How many nostalgic moments do we want in our remake? Nods to the original. The second part is the actual remake. And that's where we're going to go by characters, the plot. What do we want to change? What do we want to make better? What do we want to be crazy about? And then the final pitch is where we put it all together. And here's the movie that we're presenting to Hollywood that they should definitely make because we know better. There's one caveat. Each host gets a cut. Now, what I mean by that is at any point during this entire podcast, if up until the final pitch, up until we get to the final pitch, because once that happens, it's cemented. If they decide that they don't like something that the other hosts are agreeing on, because if 2 hosts agree on it, it's locked. That's what we're going with. Like, there's an actor that they want for a role, 2 hosts agree on it, move to the next one. We're not going to bog down in 20-minute arguments over which actor. A host that doesn't like that can yell cut, and he can change whatever that is. Last episode, if you listen to the last episode, we used cut to make Danny McBride part of our movie, something I'm still mad about. But that was part of it.
You don't get it, man. You don't get it.
I'll never get it because he's 20 years older than he should be. We also ended up with Rabid Baboon. So the cut can bring anything. And basically, whatever it is, like say, I want animatronic puppets for my Gremlins. And Troy's like, I want Legos for my Gremlins. cut, I want my Legos. We have to have Legos as the Gremlins because that's what Troy decided.
God, have you been reading my notes?
Everybody clear on how the rules of this work? I hope so, because it confuses me every time. And this is the second time, and I'm confused.
Could it be an animatronic that jumps into a bucket of like glue or jelly or something and gets Legos stuck to him? That would be cool.
You could do whatever you want, Troy, if you yell cut, because then it's up to you. But it better be clever.
That would be great for one of the gimmicky Gremlins.
With the crazy eyes. Oh, wait, that's the second movie. Never mind. We don't talk about that one.
I actually like that movie. Why do people hate that movie? Nobody's got an answer.
There was an electric
No.
gremlin stuck in a phone. That's weird.
It was very meta. That's what they were going for. It was meta before meta was cool. And a word.
I kind of liked it. So
So did I.
It wasn't bad.
No, it was good. That's the opposite of bad. All right.
It definitely been worse sequels. We'll just leave it there.
Yeah.
That is for sure.
Let's start with the original, guys. What still works? Gremlins is a classic to a lot of people. So what still works? Troy, for you, what do you definitely want to see in the remake? Has to be in there for you.
I think it has to be the concept around family unity. I think is the one thing that I really took from this. It was the family banding together. It was the family of Kingston Falls banding together in order to stop this epidemic, I guess, for lack of a better word. So the family concept, I think, is the first thing that has to be in there, because it was a Christmas movie. I don't agree with maybe going forward as a Christmas movie, but because it's a Christmas movie, the family, I think, is the focal point that we have to stick with.
Okay. So he's got family. All right. I can see family being part of this. Brian, is there anything? What about you? What has to be in here besides Phoebe Cates? Can we just CGI her in? Because, she's adorable.
The music. I love that song. Maybe that was why I ended up with the
LP
record, the LP. Yeah, that is an album. You know, I know
you still have
album
it?
is a generic term nowadays, and nobody buys a new album anymore.
I think it's retro, so it's probably cool again. That's how the kids work. Yeah.
Well, the best part was that they never knew if it was a comedy or a horror, so you just change it from 33 to 45 to 78 on that LP player, and it becomes all of it at the same time. The music was so good.
That's right. Yeah, you just set the mood. Okay, a little faster, a little slower, whatever.
And we just dated ourselves.
You sure did. You sure did. And I don't even know what you're talking about, but I assume speed it up, slow it down. I got it.
And probably the one thing that is still, I guess, that is still being used, because again, this was 30 years ago. Mm-hmm. I need a gremlin in the microwave.
Yes.
I've got to have that.
I think you got to have that whole scene. You got to have Mom being a ninja, like Katniss.
Mom was bad.
Yeah, she was cooler than everybody else in that movie. She microwaved I don't remember how the other ways, but she killed like 3 of them in that one scene.
Never panicked. She was tough. I would agree with that. We'll keep the whole scene, but I definitely need at least one gremlin in a microwave.
If not 2. Do we put 2 maybe for our remake? We have 2 gremlins in a microwave?
Sure.
Brian's like, let's do it. What the heck?
Let's do it.
Oh, there you go. It's 2 gremlins in a mixing bowl in a microwave, so you get the metal factor.
Ooh.
And they pretend that it's like a teacup spinning around on the inside.
I think the one thing we're forgetting, you got to have the 3 rules. You got to have the 3 rules. You got to have the don't feed after midnight, even if, that doesn't make sense because of time zones. You got to not get wet, which means it's really a stinky, stinky little pet if you think about it. And no sunlight. Those are the 3. You got to have those 3 rules, right? Or do you guys think maybe we tweak those at all?
I go for tweak. I never understood, even to this day, the concept of the don't feed after midnight, because it's always after midnight somewhere, even in the current time zone. So when is the cutoff? Is it 6 o'clock? Is it 7 o'clock? When the sun comes up, it doesn't count anymore. That part was never clear. Water, sunlight, get it straight up. So I think we need a different rule for the feeding, for the transformation portion.
How would you do that? I actually like that just because so many people complained about that. So that's why I'm like, keep it. But I do get what you mean, especially today's audiences hipsters would be ripping that apart, I think.
Oh, absolutely.
All right. Let's bring it up to the 21st century a little bit and just go equally as ridiculous. No use of Bluetooth around it. They are sensitive to whatever Bluetooth signal emits. with everything from earbuds to phones connecting with cars and that kind of stuff, you've got to be very careful about what you're using around your Mogwai.
It's like a sub rule of the main rule kind of thing.
No, that's what it turns them instantly into a gremlin. When the Bluetooth connection happens, it like triggers something in their brain. And
there's something.
That's how you get the Hollywood. I have to push my mantra or thing that I have to push on you this week, whether it's environment or diet pills or whatever. EMF waves is their issue that they want to push in this film.
All right, we'll sit on that. We'll come back to when we talk about the remake. So, all right, I like it. So you got to have the rules. We just might tweak them for the remake. Okay. Anything else that has to be in the remake from the original?
The granny lady going up the stairs and shooting out the window.
Mrs. Deagle or whatever?
Yeah, Deagle.
You got to have Grandma go out the window. All right. I got to have the Flasher Gremlin. I got to have that in there. Got to. It's a moral imperative. It really is. The other thing, the hi-ho scene in the theater. I got to have, I don't care if they explode there, but I got to have a scene where all the gremlins at some point are watching Snow White singing hi-ho, hi-ho. I got to have that.
It has to be in a movie theater?
Well, where else are they going to all gather to watch? I mean, you got 100, 200 gremlins. Where else are they going to watch it? Somebody's
go
house?
to like Shaq's house or something in his movie theater that he has in his basement.
Oh, get an absurd celebrity cameo? Is that what you're saying? LeBron James?
James.
Because I don't think Shaq's relevant anymore. I don't think that would do anything.
Well, you need a B-list actor to be, celeb to be in the movie now. What
about the bathroom buddy? Do you got to have the wacky inventions, or is that something we can pitch?
Maybe the wacky inventions. Come up with something a little different, though. I think maybe have a box, again, kind of like my poster idea with the last one.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of the same thing. Maybe just a box that sits there on kind of like, with Jurassic World. You had Jeff Goldblum's book sitting there on that guy's desk. Do you notice that?
Oh, yeah.
Chaos theory thing.
Chaos theory. Okay, yeah.
It's very nondescript. It's quick. You don't even notice it. It's if you don't know what you're looking for. But if you're a fan of the first, you just see the bathroom buddy box just sitting there somewhere in the movie.
Okay. Now, are you saying, do we need the bathroom buddy itself, or do we need the concept of inventions?
Concept of inventions, but I kind of think bathroom buddy is the more nostalgic way to go. And, I'm sure a modern version of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think for the throwback, the thing you put in there to connect audiences between the two movies, the bathroom buddy has to be in there somewhere. I think the one thing that would be cool to see, though, would be the inventions played up a little bit more.
And used in the actual...
Yeah, like they have to ride some crazy car with Inspector Gadget type stuff that has to like drive down the street to like go after the gremlins in a chase scene or something. Yeah, I think the inventor part of this story was interesting initially, and they never really went with it, I think, through the movie more than they could have. So the invention part, I think, would be the new twist that they could use.
Got it. Okay. We got that down. We'll come back to that in the remake. So we got to have some more invention. I like that. That's good. The only other thing I had was I want the Phoebe Kate story, the Kate story of her dad. I want that story because it's the worst movie story ever, and I want it in the movie. The one about her dad being stuck in the chimney and even if it's not a Christmas, we'll talk about Christmas when we get there. But
and these two are tight. How did he not know that?
Because she never talked about it, Brian. It was hard.
Okay.
I want that story in the movie. Does anybody agree, disagree?
They needed the trauma of the situation to bring that story up because this is more traumatic than that.
I mean, it's like a story where it's all fun and whimsical and mischievous, and then she tells that story and it's like, oh, damn, what? That was literally the worst story you could have told. Worse than everything that's going on right now in your town. I love it. Anything else you guys want, you have to have in this movie? All right.
No, I say, well, let's rock and roll.
What don't you want? What about the original does not work today, whether it's dated, whether it's just something that didn't work to begin with, it was a stupid story point, whatever. What don't you want?
Animatronic Gizmo. He looks like a cheap knockoff from Chuck E. Cheese.
So you want him to be CGI then?
I think at this stage, if we can make apes look believable, that they're talking and riding horses and doing hand gestures and stuff, Yeah, we can come up with a cute gizmo that's not really there.
And because he's small enough, I think it would play off better than, even though the recent Planet of the Apes movies are really great and what they've done with the CGI to make it look humanistic. But yeah, smaller, you get away with the CGI even more easily, especially if you get something on IMAX or 3D-ish.
Mm-hmm. All right, so you agree with CGI too, Troy. You're good with it?
I like the animatronic idea for the realness factor, but there's got to be something that we could do that's like an
There's got to be a balance. Yeah.
Yeah, it look realistic enough, so almost like puppet status, like Yoda would have been, or something back in the day, versus true full-on CGI. There has to be a blend, I think.
Okay. I got Christmas. I want Christmas not to be here. I mean, if you got to have a holiday, I'm thinking more like Halloween. But I just, the Christmas thing never worked for me.
It was the setup for the gift portion of the story that he needed a gift for his son. So if you can figure out a way that, you know, if the gift is even the motivator for the Mogwai showing up in the first place, then yeah, it had to be like a birthday. And then you could put the birthday closer to, you know, 4th of July. His fireworks would be totally awesome in this movie.
Why would fireworks be totally awesome in a Gremlins movie? Because
it's Abraham Lincoln's birthday. Here's a Mogwai.
You could have an Abraham Lincoln gremlin.
Oh no, you can't.
Top hat and beard and the whole thing.
No, you can't.
Maybe Billy is like really emo, and his dad's on a trip, and he kind of the same thing. He says, maybe this will cheer him up. So that way you don't even need a holiday. He's just
Abraham Lincoln, Mogwai Slayer.
No. I like that. Maybe he's an absentee dad because he's always trying to sell his invention. So he picks up the Mogwai just on a trip, random trip.
Right.
Don't have to tie it into frickin' Christmas. The Barbie car ending. I hate that. I hate using the Barbie car. Bzzz.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, we can't use the Barbie car. We have to take that up a notch. That goes to the car chase scene.
Okay.
Something a little different. Maybe scooters, motorized bikes.
I like it. I like where we're going.
How about getting rid of the extreme personalities for some of the supporting actors, like Mrs. Deagle?
So over the
she's
top,
just a little too sadistic. Like, don't you let that dog out of your house because I'll make him eat glass or something. Just like I could just see her. If she was a man, he would be twisting his mustache.
But don't you have those types of people in a small town like Kingston Falls?
I don't know. She's pretty dramatic.
Well, so was the guy who thought that his tractor was going to eat him, and then, his tractor did eat him.
Well, it was a dangerous tractor, Troy. Sometimes tractors attack. Sometimes Troy's attacks, too. I see what you're saying. Take it down a notch.
Yeah, I mean, like, even like you're talking about the guy with the tractor, Mr. Futterman, he hated everything foreign. Admittedly, 30 years ago, there was a certain amount of, built in the USA type stuff that was prevalent. And I guess at his age at the time, he was a veteran of some wars. You can kind of see maybe the disdain that he had, but it's just a little bit over the top. It just doesn't translate well nowadays. So find some other, thing that he's just angry about.
Congress as a whole.
Congress, there you go. Just hates politics.
Kardashians.
Oh, there you go. I like now you're onto something. Futterman hates the Kardashians. Write that down.
That's right.
I don't like the Gremlins bar scene. And I don't know. I think I'm probably in the minority. I think that's really cheesy. So
I guess it depends on if you're going R-rated for the Halloween factor, if we stay with the Halloween time frame, or if you're going back PG, so it's more of a bring everybody along kind of flick. If it's PG, then yeah, definitely no bar scene.
Okay.
I could live without it. I'm not too attached to it. So
it's still it's teetering right now. Right now
yeah,
we kind of got it, maybe not.
Right. If the right premise for using it comes up, then I'm all for it. But I'm just as equally fine with cutting it out and finding something else that works.
Okay. Anybody else have anything else they don't want in the remake? Last chance. All right.
I'm against you. I don't like the movie theater scene. It was gimmicky because you can blow them all up in one place, but I like the hi-ho piece of it. I think we can still have the song, but done differently. I don't want the movie theater.
I don't want the ending in the movie theater. I just want the scene, I guess.
Yeah,
I should have prefaced that.
I want them walking down the street going to like the swimming pool, singing "Hi Ho" as they walk to the swimming pool.
I like that. You can make that work. You can make that
All
work.
right.
I'm okay with that. So, should this movie even be remade for today's audiences, or should it be in the quote unquote "don't touch" column? Troy?
Given what happened with Jurassic World recently, I would say I would be up for going to see a Gremlins movie in the theater. But at the same time, the first one was so iconic and so classic. I mean, Spielberg just hits on this stuff at the right time in the 80s with everything that he did, that I almost have to put it in a don't touch status. But because they made a sequel, that almost like ruins the don't touch status. So then now it's fair game because we have to erase the sequel and do something better. I say let's do something new. Let's try it.
Okay. Brian?
Oh, totally. Absolutely. There's lots of room to remake this. Especially, you look at some of these other movies like Red Dawn that I don't know. As much as I love the original, I just don't know why you would remake Red Dawn. And some of these others, this has got lots of potential.
I'm with you. I think this is one, even though I love the original, let's do it. Let's make this movie. For our remake, we got to determine how many nostalgic moments we're going to have, which means nods to the original. You know, like in Jurassic Park, you got the Jurassic World, you got the eye coming down, looking in the window. Same thing. It's a nod to the original. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being a classic in your eyes, how many nostalgic moments does this remake need? Troy?
I'm counting in my head.
It's basically like how much. Where do you rate this movie in your classic scale?
Oh, just a 0 to 10 classic wise?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a 9 easily.
Ooh, 9. All right, Brian.
I'm going with a 6.
Really, it's not as classic for you, huh? I'm going with 9 too. It's a big favorite of mine. So basically, we tally those up. We give you an average 8. 8 nostalgic moments throughout the course of our movie. That's up there. I think that's quite a classic by most people's standards. Okay, well, here's what we know about the actual remake, all right? Steven Spielberg is an executive producer. Chris Columbus is returning to Gremlins as well as a producer of the film, and he says that it's not a remake of the movie at all. It's just a reinvention of it. So this could actually work. I mean, if you just make it basically the inventor is I guess Billy as an adult, and just change the kids around and stuff. Maybe that's how they do it in real life. He also said, when I saw Star Trek, I was like, this is the way you do it. You have to connect the audience emotionally to the past by seeing Leonard Nimoy in that movie. And then so obviously seeing Harrison Ford and Chewbacca at the end of the Star Wars trailer, 8 million geeks crying their eyes out, me included. So I thought, well, that's a great thing to do. So we're going to apply that to Gremlins. We're not going to forget about the past. I don't know what that means, but it sure sounds like it's going to be connected. And Carl Ellsworth, who wrote the new Goosebumps movie as well as Disturbia, is getting first crack at this. Did you have any other stuff, Troy? You said you had a couple.
That was exactly the article I pulled up.
Oh, sweet. We are simpatico.
One brain.
Since it is definitely getting a remake, and because nobody listens to us, how should they remake it? We're going to go by characters, then we're going to do plot, then we're going to talk about production a little bit. Now, the characters, we basically broke it down to 4 main characters. Billy, Kate, Mrs. Deagle, and Randall Peltzer. So we're going to figure out who is the best person for the roles. Now, 2 hosts agree on it, that's who it is. There's not going to be any debate. We're not going to spend all day on it. 2 hosts agree, we're moving on. If there's a debate, we'll figure it out. Or if somebody wants to use their cut, they still can because they still exist. Brian, who did you pick for Billy? Let's start with Billy first.
For Billy, I went with Anton Yelchin. Or Yelchin, I'm not sure exactly the pronunciation, but he was in Fright Night, so he's got a little horror comedy chops behind him, and Chekhov in Star Trek.
I like him a lot, actually.
Yeah, I do too.
Troy, who do you got?
I went with Billy, right? So we're going with Josh Hutcherson from The Hunger Games, PETA. Billy was kind of that dopey-looking, kind of geeky. I think PETA plays off that way. He's kind of just like spacey, like, oh, I'll just follow Jennifer Lawrence forever.
Well, yeah, I would too. I do, actually.
I was going to say, you do.
Every chance I get. I actually picked Liam Hemsworth, but I'm going to side with Brian. I like Anton Yelchin. So, boom, there's our Billy. And yay! That's 2 against 1. I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry. Okay. Maybe you got Kate. Who do you got for Kate, Troy?
I went with Jamie Alexander. Her star seems to be rising quite a bit. She did the Kyle XY on ABC Family, and then she was on Covert Affairs guest starring, and then now she's going to be out with her new Blind Spot TV show on NBC. I think she's someone that I think looks like Kate, feels like Kate, just that quiet, mousy kind of feel to her. So I think I'd go that route. She
was also in Thor for us super nerds. She was in Thor. She played. Who did she play, Brian? I can't remember the character's name.
She was the Lady Sif, the one that's crushing on Thor. And I mean, let's face it, who's not crushing on Thor?
I'm crushing on Thor right now.
Me too. So, but she's his, basically one of his best friends, and she just wants it to be more.
Probably friends with benefits is what Thor's thinking. I picked Anna Kendrick, and I'm not really a super Anna Kendrick fan. But when it comes to this particular character, she reminds me of Phoebe Cates at the same time, kind of sweet, funny, clever. A lot of guys had a huge crush on her. Hasn't done quite the nude scene from Fast Times at Ridgemont High yet, but we can hope. So I pick Anna Kendrick.
You just want her to lead the hi-ho chant in the movie theater.
I do, because she can sing. So if anybody's going to do it, it's got to be Anna Kendrick. Brian, you going to be better? Can you top it?
Wow. Going to be tough. I'm going a little bit obscure on this one. And I'm going with Ivana Lynch, which I would be surprised if you knew the name, but she was Luna Lovegood in the Harry Potter series. No idea. Kind of spacey, white-headed girl.
Oh, okay.
I keep forgetting she's older now. I keep picturing her as Luna.
Yeah, I mean, she's. I checked. She is in her mid-20s or something like that. So she's in that demographic, that age range anyway. So somebody, like I said, somebody a little different, somebody that maybe doesn't draw as much star power away from any of the others. Not as much of a distraction, but still a little bit sweet, a little bit. I believe from what I've seen of her, she could probably, pull off a little bit of action. So, and she's kind of good with the sarcastic little snide humor. So
I'm gonna sway I'll just change I'll go with Jamie Alexander, just because I went with Brian in the last one, and I don't really care. So, how about that?
My only issue with
that's how Hollywood makes decisions, baby.
I'm glad you got a very firm set of standards.
Don't.
I like that call though, Brian. But the problem is she hasn't done anything other than Harry Potter. So it's nobody.
It takes a little imagination. I concede that. I get it. So
how about Mrs. Deagle? The way I understand it, you two already agree. So who did you pick? Who did you guys pick? I don't care who names it.
Lily Tomlin came right up because of Grace and Frankie just airing recently. So the first name that came to my head was Lily Tomlin.
Because you guys think she is the best at being an evil, maniacal, mustache twirling villain?
Well, we would like to think that, at least I would like to think that Lily would take it to a slightly different direction. She doesn't have to be so snidely whiplash or what have you, but I mean, she's hysterical, so she can bring humor to it, and she just looks like she could be bitchy.
Okay.
See, I thought I was thinking crazy bitchy, but not evil bitchy.
There's a difference.
Whichever way she wants to take it. She's earned enough respect and stuff. I'll let her, make her own decision on that.
Okay, you ready for mine? Since you guys already agree, so you could, unless I sway you, that's the way it's going, right? That's the way it's going.
Bring it.
Okay. Just because of the recent movie Spy that I saw, Jason Statham. I'm saying no more Mrs. Deagle, it's Mr. Deagle. Because I loved seeing him play a bad guy, and I would love to see him twirl his mustache a little bit further.
I got to stay with Lily Tomlin on this one.
I got to stay with Lily Tomlin.
Oh,
it's better as a woman.
You crazy bitches.
I like you stepping outside the box with that, but ours is better.
Okay, fine. Whatever. All right, Randall Peltzer. My pick was Bryan Cranston. That's the dad. I love the Cranston. Every old guy, Bryan Cranston. Brian?
That was my pick, too.
Yes! Oh. Troy, you got to sway.
We may
us,
actually
buddy.
get this thing made. Holy crap.
I think it's going to happen.
It's funny because I looked at Woody Harrelson first for the crazy part, and then I was kind of like, Bryan Cranston is kind of fitting there too. So I guess we have to go Bryan Cranston.
Bryan Cranston it is. He's Randall Peltzer.
Wow, the first unanimous one there. He's, but he is that likable guy. He can pull off being if we decide to go with a struggling inventor, who's probably a better salesman than he is an actual inventor. Mm-hmm. But he's also a good father, which we've seen him do a number of times. So, yeah, I mean, it's a no-brainer, right?
Well, obviously, because we all three thought of it. So, yeah, no-brainer. Now the plot. This is where it gets fun. We can do anything we want. It's our movie. We agree Christmas is out the window, right? No more Christmas?
No more Christmas.
No more Christmas.
Do we still want a holiday affiliation? Do we want Halloween? Do we want Labor Day? What do we want? Or do we just make it random? Just any day. Dad's grabbing a gift kind of thing.
I guess it depends on the rating. I say if it's R, it's Halloween. If it's PG or PG-13, I go 4th of July. I think you can have a lot of fun with that.
Now let's decide. Do we want rated R? Do we want PG-13? Do you want full-on horror? Or?
I say we go R.
Ooh, you want it bloody?
Yeah, I want World War Z type of amount of gremlins in this.
You want them climbing walls and whatnot?
Yeah. And here's where it's going to take place. It's going to take place in Russia.
Why Russia? Wait, we're going to have Bryan Cranston. We're going to have Anton Yelchin.
Yeah, they're on a working vacation. He's got some sort of invention, trade show or something in, outside of Moscow somewhere. Some small town.
Why
So it's
Russia?
not, you can still have that little small town feel, but you got to mix it up a little bit. You can't do in, Springfield, USA again. So
You got to have Kingston Falls, man. No. Russia.
it's okay. Just make the K backwards. That makes it Russian.
Troy, what do you think about the Russia idea?
Well, I was thinking about it. It's like, could it be that he, instead of an inventor, maybe he's like archaeologist or something, and he happens to be in Russia, in Siberia, doing something around the Tanaksa explosion, right? The comet, the meteor that supposedly landed there with all the crazy crap that goes on in Siberia, and then the gremlins are part of that somehow from another planet. The Mogwai come.
So they're aliens?
It's an invasion plot. Cute, little, adorable, turns into crazy, over the world.
Now, let's say they're not so much in like an invasion. It's not an invasion plot because we've got to have the rules, right? So they've got to be somewhat domesticated.
They have to be known to some degree.
At least to the locals.
So someone from Krypton or something comes and tells us.
I don't think DC will let us do that. Well, Warner Brothers.
The reason why our planet was destroyed is because we didn't follow these 3 rules. So we're sending this one to you, so it doesn't cause any more issues.
What was your thought, Brian? You were starting your thought, and then Troy started pretending we were making a Superman movie.
I mean, I just kind of think it's one of those things to where, like I say, we've got to establish the rules somehow. So there's, I don't know, some old-timey Russian, whatever, lumberjack guy or something or whatever. He's got this.
Now he's a lumberjack?
He looks like some... Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, there's some Siberian stuff, Tunguska or whatever it is.
Russian lumberjack, all right.
And they kind of get in tight with another family, and they say, hey, what is that thing making a noise over there? Oh, that's our little Mogwai. And I don't know why I just went Italian Jewish on it instead of Russian, but...
It's a Mogwai.
It's a Mogwai.
All right, so they're on a working vacation. He's doing whatever he's doing, trying to sell his stuff, and comes across through a Russian lumberjack of some sort, a Mogwai. And does the guy sell it to him, or does he steal it, or have another little kid steal it and sell it?
Oh, we're crappy Americans. He's got to steal it, right?
All right. After the guy tells him the rules, though.
Yeah, you got to establish the rules. Absolutely.
Troy, are you on board with the Russian theme?
I like the Russian theme. I think you could tie back into, again, the Hollywood trope of having to have some current event that we're all pushing fear-mongering on people. So, yeah, with the whole Putin and whatever, sure, Russia seems perfect.
Okay. And he takes it home to Billy, So he gets it on to Billy, right? And that's where things go wrong because Billy's irresponsible. Obviously, Anton Yelkin is an irresponsible kid. I assume we're going to go with the same thing, and he feeds him after. We got to solidify the rules. That's what we didn't do. We got to solidify the rules. So you can't feed him after midnight. What do we decide to do with that? We're going to make it Bluetooth enabled. Anybody? We got to come up with some ideas here. Do we want to go Bluetooth?
So here's how you tie it back in. So if we make it Bluetooth enabled, the gremlin that was stuck in the phone in Gremlins 2 somehow escapes into the EM waves, and he's like trying to escape and get back into real form somehow. And so he uses the Bluetooth programming in order to reclaim his essence, I guess.
Okay,
it's like a spirit invasion.
You're going way too deep for me. I can't watch that movie. I already got a headache. I don't know what just happened.
Wasn't that Shocker or something like that? One of those horror movies?
Yep.
But see, here's the one thing I got to say about going into the Bluetooth technology is if you go that route, the one thing that was almost timeless about Gremlins is those 3 rules don't apply to technology. So as technology evolves, like in 10 years, the rules wouldn't be obsolete. You know what I mean? Like
but it could be so much fun though. You can pick up his like Gizmo or whatever his name's going to be, can pick up a phone and like go to turn off the Bluetooth setting, but because he's got his brightness turned up too much, he's like, bright light. And it like flashes him out the phone screen.
Crap, I like that.
What about no high winds?
What?
It blows the hair off of him.
And the fur gets planted in the ground and they grow.
Like
that's how you get to the World War Z status.
Daisies?
Like cottonwood, yeah.
I like Bluetooth better.
Look,
Bluetooth makes more sense.
You've got, I mean, it's got to be some kind of environmental type stuff just about right if we're going to replace the one. I mean, it's no bright light or something to do with senses. You know, you got sight, you got touch. What's something else? Smells. What about smells? No bacon smells to him. It makes him vomit. And when he vomits,
wow.
I don't know.
He coughs up a hairball. The hairball becomes the cocoon.
God. Let's go back to Bluetooth. That makes more sense to me than whatever you guys are coming up with. You definitely don't want the feed after midnight thing, though, right? That's something both of you agree. No. Okay.
Like no as in not added in there, or no as in one of the what?
Replace it with something else.
Replace it with something else.
Replace that with the Bluetooth, huh?
Okay, yeah. I'm fine with that. Fine. Bluetooth it is. Don't get him near Bluetooth. How can you tell? How can he tell if he's got him near Bluetooth? He just has to. Is there some device that his dad made?
It's like a dog whistle to him.
I know, but how would Billy know? How would Billy know that there's Bluetooth there? I can't take you in that store.
Because he like his ears
because the Russians, they're very technologically advanced.
Or his dad invented something that identifies Bluetooth
Russian,
signals?
Siberian.
Yeah, we tied into the invention thing. He invents something Bluetooth related, and that's what triggers this sound of the Mogwai in the back room, because it like makes a high pitched squeaky sound or something, and it instead of singing the pretty song, he's like, and he like freaks out when the Bluetooth kicks in when his cell phone gets too close.
All right, so the 3 rules are: don't get wet, no sunlight, and no Bluetooth.
But there's a warning. There's a warning period for it's like timed exposure of the Bluetooth, right?
Oh, so you can identify that it's a problem. Yeah. Okay.
But if I fall asleep and I leave my Bluetooth on my phone and it's connected to my Sonos system or whatever, then then you're screwed. You're dead in the morning.
Don't listen to Spotify for too long if you got a Mogwai nearby. That's what you're saying. Okay.
Totally.
All right. Okay. One thing I want to add is I think at the end, instead of like the theater, it has to be, because I was always pissed that they didn't really use the sunlight to much effect, except for the one gremlin. You know, I just thought it was a little too easy. I really want it to be something where the sunlight kills them all. You know, like he finds a way to trick the herd to get out in the open, and that's how he kills them all, as opposed to blowing up a theater.
Take them all over to LA Tan and fake bake them all?
Well, you can't. He's in Russia. Do they have an LA Tan in Russia? I don't know if they do.
So is it sunlight specifically, or is it UV rays? Because then we could have like UV photon guns or something. I don't know.
We're going to make it like Blade, and Whistler's going to whip up some weapons.
No. Well, let's see. Well, in the original, it was just bright light, period.
Mm-hmm.
Especially sunlight. It'll kill them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So how do you kill them when they go all crazy from the Bluetooth?
Sunlight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we're there. Yeah.
Yeah. You need more than just a flashlight, but just bam.
Now, do we run the same course as we did in the original? I mean, where you've got Billy gets him, he's irresponsible. First we create little Mogwais, and then eventually we create Gremlins by the Bluetooth issue, because we're making it a modern version. Does that enter in here? I mean, do we still have the pool scene? Like, what scenes are we going to keep, and what are we going to cut? What are we going to do here?
Well, I think we've established we're definitely keeping the kitchen death match scene.
Definitely. It'll just be a Russian kitchen.
Yeah.
Do they have different spatulas? I don't know how that works.
You keep the school scene and have it be computer club. Instead of eating the Snickers bar, they're working on microchips or whatever that emit Bluetooth frequencies.
Oh, you want all these kids to die too, don't you?
Yeah, they're working on like iPads and stuff, and so they're working on like building apps.
And we want this rated R. You guys are really technologically worried about this thing. You want this thing to be hip.
Well, if it's rated R, then you have the standard school teen nudity thing that you could throw in there.
Oh, now you went naughty.
We said R.
Well, you did want the flashing gremlin, didn't you?
Yeah, I don't want to see gremlin penis. That's not.
Well, don't be hating on naughty there.
I like that scene. I always thought that was really funny. Okay, so Dad is Russian, or he's an American inventor. They're on a working vacation because when you want to take your family somewhere special, Russia's the first place you think of. And as he's hanging out with a Russian lumberjack, he comes across the Mogwai, steals him, gets the rules. Kid disobeys him. Now, you guys talked about making Peltzer the main guy. How would you make him the main guy in this? Basically, his son tells him what happens, and Dad has to pair up with him to figure it all out? Is that what we're thinking?
Yeah, I was thinking because the invention thing was so downplayed in the first one that, I'm thinking like the Barbie car scene, but instead it's like an invention of like a scooter of some kind where he can add rocket packs or something onto the end of it that catches up to the gremlin, because the gremlin steals the prototype or whatever, or he steals the one that works, and then Dad has to grab the prototype one, which of course doesn't have everything working out properly, but eventually they catch up in the scene or something.
He's invented, since the dude's a lumberjack, so he's like, it's almost like a mobile trade show that he's got. So he's got like this, it's like a very
on a medieval cart.
All right, it's like a chainsaw, right? But it's like built kind of like some of these leaf blowers, where the motor is actually on your back, but you're just swinging this chainsaw blade very lightly, and so you're just cutting through trees like butter. Dang, wait a minute, hang on, let me make some notes. I'm gonna make some drawings here, and
Trademark patents.
That's right.
I like it.
So it's kind of a demo thing that he's there. He's there for. It's not just, hey, look at this. You really need this bathroom, buddy. This will help you out, and it's a 5-minute pitch, and he's out. This is something that he's showing off the benefits for a little bit of time, and he's like, you know what? I'm gone all the time. Kid's birthday's coming up. Been an absent father for a little bit. Why don't I just bring the family with me and load them up? And hey, you know what? Bring your girlfriend while you're at it. That kind of a thing.
Now we got it. Now it all is starting to come together. Where are the baboons? I'm really missing some baboons, but I would like something.
These would be more like snow monkeys,
New features of the Gremlins, because it's rated R, is that you have the baboon bare ass.
I want to break one of the movie rules in this movie, in the remake. I want the dog to get eaten.
Oh God, that breaks my heart.
That makes it NC-17 right there.
Oof. I want it to happen. I want the dog to die. It doesn't.
Do you want to see the dog die?
It doesn't have to see it. No, I don't have to see it. But that was the one thing that it bugged me in the first one, is nothing dies that I really cared about. It was all people that you really kind of don't like, So I want, and I realized they were going for a more cartoony feel. But if we're going R, and we decided we're going to make an R-rated movie, right? We're going more horror than just comedy.
Sure.
Because that's the goal, is to scare the crap out of everybody. You got to let people know that there's stakes. And I don't want the cute girl to die. And I don't want Anton Yelchin, and I can't have Bryan Cranston die. I already dealt with that once. So I got to go with the dog. Dog's got to bite it.
I'm fine with even Kate dying, just you take, it's one thing, your family goes on vacation, but you bring the friend, and then the friend is the one that dies, think about what you got to deal with when you get home. Ugh.
Oh, Brian.
I trust you with my daughter. I didn't think it was a good idea, but you know what, y'all, whatever. It's something that she would never have an opportunity to do. So y'all go, y'all have fun. And then I get that call. What do you mean she's dead?
Ooh, Kate dies saving the dog.
She's trying to save him, and they get eaten.
But see, I'd rather have the dog die because a dog never dies. It's always, people are cooler than animals, and I know we all agree on that. But I really want the dog to die. I don't know why. I feel very strongly about this.
What if Kate's the daughter and Billy's the one that tags along on the vacation? And then something Billy does causes the gremlins to happen. The gremlins kill the dog, and then Kate kills Billy.
Whoa!
For taking out her dog.
You just went dramatic. That took a dramatic turn. All of a sudden, Kate's a murderer. When that happened? I don't know. That might be too dark for a Gremlin movie, in my opinion. For Kate to suddenly turn into the...
Kate gets bit by the gremlin and then turns into a half human, half gremlin.
Hey, there's something there. We never really had that. Like somebody gets bit and then gets infected.
Yeah.
Can that happen in our Gremlin movie?
Sure. It's zombies all over the place. It's just a different kind of zombie.
Yeah.
Like human gremlins.
Right.
I like that.
Or we could have Paul Reiser show up and try to kidnap a couple, kind of take a few gremlins as samples and
Paul Reiser
to study.
Oh, that's a callback to the second movie, isn't it?
To Aliens.
I see. I gotcha. Where's Bill Paxton? Or Danny McBride, as it were. Sorry. You got to listen to the last remake one.
How many classic 80s movies can you fit into one movie?
I like it, though, because that's one thing. It was never really expanded on. Like, if a gremlin who's kind of infected themselves bites you, does anything happen? I mean, if you live. So I like that. They get infected. How does that happen? What happens to them? I don't want them to turn into a zombie, because that's been done to death.
No, just mood swings.
It's almost like Grayscale with Game of Thrones. It's just your body just starts turning slowly. It's just your body starts getting green and leathery. You look like something out of like an extra from V, and it's but you don't really turn into anything else. It's just kind of your body can't handle those cells, so it just eventually just kind of you kind of just die a slow death over time.
Which then plays into the alien invasion from the Tunux comet crashing, being why they have to be in Russia.
The Tunguska?
Tunguska, yeah.
So what's going to make the gremlins replicate to the horde level that Brian wants, the World War Z level, where you've got gremlins crawling on top of gremlins to climb mountaintops or whatever? Like, how's that going to happen? Is it going to be a pool again, or do they jump in a river?
What if the sunlight actually multiplies them and the water is what kills them?
Oh, that's interesting. Put a tweak on the rules. Let's switch them around a little bit.
You've got the same rules, but you just flip it around. I'm open to that. What do you think, Aaron?
I'm okay with that. I don't know why sunlight would make you have babies, but hey, I don't really know why water would either.
I know why turning out the lights make you have babies.
You're way too proud of yourself. Way too proud of yourself. I like that. Okay, so we've got
Brian.
Point Brian, exactly. So we've got water kills them. Okay. Water kills them. And then you've got sunlight makes them replicate, right?
Yep.
And then Bluetooth is what
just
makes
irritates the crap out of
That's
them.
what makes them switch from Mogwai to Gremlins.
Yep.
Ooh, I like it. I got a feeling nobody's going to see our movie, but I like it. And the dog dies, right? Are we all on board? Can we all agree that the dog's going to die, please?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll give you that one.
And what about Billy being the boyfriend that comes along on the trip, rather, and then the daughter being Kate being the daughter for a twist?
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? I like it. And he's got to get maimed. I don't know why. I just didn't like him. I need more violence in my Gremlin movie with real stakes. And then they could just basically squirt guns would be deadly, right? Because water will kill them.
Nerf can sponsor it. Some super sucker action.
We're
Cheap
basically
product
getting
placement.
product plugs. That's good. I like it. Okay, I think we got our movie down. What about the production itself? We all agree we're going to do CGI for the most part, just because we want these insane hordes of I'm sorry, I said zombies. Gremlins. Right?
Poor guy.
Because I'm actually on board with that idea. I think it's a great idea to have like a massive army, basically, of gremlins.
Yeah, it's almost like World War Z meets 30 Days of Night type of thing, where it is a small area. It's cold.
So you could have a huge horde of them, and it would go unnoticed.
Exactly.
Oh, one thing to the plot I wanted to bring up before I forgot. I totally forgot. I had this idea, and I kind of like it. I don't know what you guys think. What if, because Billy's the one who basically causes, screws things up and makes this gremlin happen, right? Because he got his Bluetooth plugged in playing too long. What about for at least the initial part of the movie, he's blamed for things happening? Because, the gremlins, because if you remember where gremlins came from, it's kind of like that old adage that things are happening. Oh, no, it was a gremlin. Oh, no, it was a gremlin. So, he's trying to say, no, this is what happened, and nobody believes him. And actually, they think he's the reason that things are happening before they start escalating into the horde.
Right. The little things, you left the door open, you left the cabinet, you
killed my dog.
Well,
yeah, the dog ends up dead the next morning.
Mm-hmm. Just the little up until like people start, because you can't hide the numbers anymore, up until that happens. And then if I change in the sunlight, by the way, then you can have them out in the daylight too. I like that. But yeah, you see what I'm saying? Like Billy gets blamed for it for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
All right. Now we got drama. Back to the production. Because you guys want the score, you think the score's got to stay. Does that mean the tone is still kind of really comedy, or since we're going for rated R and you got that score, it's tricky?
Well, think about the theme music. It is that it's almost like strings and piano sounding. There's high pitched noises, which a lot of Russian music is that type of noise.
Music is
not exactly. I mean, it's not something that we're used to, but it is that. I keep thinking Zorba the Greek type, music, and I don't know. I think you can still kind of keep it. Of course, you can update it, make it a little bit more modern, but I still think you need to kind of set that little tone.
Yeah, you could have the same riff, right? Dun, 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 but do it over like a viola or violin, and just pull on those strings a little more creepily, eerily as you play.
There
it.
you go.
Okay. I'm just trying to find a way for it to work. I'm still mad I don't have baboons, by the way, but whatever.
You have baboon butts on the gremlins.
Maybe we can have the gremlins eat a baboon at some point, just so we tie it into our last remake. I think it's important.
How are there baboons in Russia, though?
Don't ask questions, Troy. Why are there gremlins in Russia? Why are there lumberjacks with chainsaws running around in the middle of Russia with holding a mogwai? I don't know why any of this is happening. It's just happening. Sometimes things happen. Who should direct it?
Oh, you know who I've got.
Who? No, I don't. That's why I asked a question. Who do you got directing it?
Timur, my boy, my Russian director man crush, Timur Bekmambetov.
Wow, you wanted to go crazy.
Yeah. He's done Wanted, which is he's good with special effects. A little bit of action, a little bit of comedy. His Night Watch and Day Watch movies, there's some really good creepy stuff in there, so he can pull off the horror aspect a little bit. I can't see anybody else.
You got anybody better, Troy?
I was thinking Alan Taylor.
Alan Taylor from
Game of Thrones, right?
Thor
He's
2.
done Lost, West Wing, 6 Feet Under, Game of Thrones, Boardwalk Empire, Mad Men. I think he did Dark World, didn't he? Thor Dark World.
Mm-hmm.
And he's doing upcoming Terminator Genesis, so he's got the end of the world kind of concepts behind him.
I don't like Alan Taylor just because I didn't like Thor 2 as much as everybody else did. I just thought it was okay. It didn't have any personality. I think a Gremlins movie, I want personality, if that makes sense. I was thinking, and I know I've bagged on him on the Hollywood Outsider podcast, but Robert Rodriguez, in his prime, this is right up his alley. And I think it could be a career reinvention for him. But on the same token, I was thinking of him, and I really don't want him to do it. So, kind of just ignore what I said. I like McMahon but tough. I kind of got to side with Brian on this one.
All right.
So, Timar, is there anything else we want in our movie? Anything else that has to be there? Anything else we need to do with this thing to juice it up? Do we want blood? A lot more blood? Because there really wasn't any blood.
Well, I think it has to end in a cliffhanger so that we can have a remake of Gremlins 2 somehow.
I don't ever want to remake a Gremlins 2, even though I like the movie.
Not a remake of 2 itself, but this whole concept of like, in the sunlight, but because they're in Siberia, right? They're above the Arctic Circle or whatever, and it's like dark because it's winter up there where it's dark all the time, and they're trying to push to like spring, and they have to come across the line or whatever before they get to Moscow. And then episode 2 is like, Gremlins, the Moscow invasion.
Okay. Oh my God, I just got the movie poster in my head.
Oh boy.
It's got like those big onion turnip shaped buildings in Russia that they're famous for, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. St. Basil's Cathedral, that kind of stuff. And above it, it says Kremlins. And then there's a gremlin marking out the K and spray painting a G over it.
Oh, that's great.
Okay, I'm on board. With that. That's good. Ended on a high note, Brian.
You were saying Moscow, and I'm like, bam.
Correct.
That's good. We got to do it.
Oh.
All right.
Red square is now the green square.
You know what we didn't say? I really want Howie Mandel to come back and do the voice of Gizmo.
I'm sure he's free.
Yeah, I don't think he's doing anything except game shows.
Gizmo's older now, so he would have a little bit deeper voice.
This is Gizmo.
And I think you've got to make him adorably cute.
Well, yeah, that was the magic of making that work, because you took something.
But I'm just saying, we just, we're talking about changes and stuff, and we don't have to really come up with exactly what he looks like. We'll let the art department do that. He's just got to be very adorable, very marketable.
You just got to make the same thing and just make it so it doesn't look like it's somebody's cheap puppet. Really,
all right, that's my cut. There you go. I'll use a cut. The cuteness factor of Gizmo is actually the scary part.
How so?
So instead of the gremlins being green, the gremlins are actually the mogwai. So the cuteness factor is like what lures you in, and then they like rip your face off.
Wow. Like, so all of the viciousness, they're actually adorable?
Exactly.
Which at first I'm like, all right, I'm on board with that. But then I've got to say, I guess, well, it's too late to do the cut, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
it is too late.
It is too late,
but I mean, I guess my argument to that is, why would you embrace one of those green ones? The gremlins. Like say if you flip, it's not exactly a look that endears you to go, you know what, come here, let me cuddle with you for a little bit.
I got it. The sunlight doesn't turn them, like literally turn them into monsters, because they already look like that. It actually affects their temperament.
Right.
So they go from the cute, adorable looking, and actually maybe acting, but once they turn, they still look the same, but they are vicious and psychotic.
Yep.
So we don't go from Teddy Ruxpin to Lizard Man. You keep the same look throughout. It's just sweet, or I'll eat your face off.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
Brings the production value of the budget way down too. So then we only have to do one CGI versus two.
Well, and it also adds to like a trickery factor, right? Because nobody's going to believe that this little monster would eat their face off.
It's the horror factor for the horror movie, because then it's like, oh, pick it up, don't pick it up, and oh my gosh!
Why didn't you use that before, you dip?
Because I didn't think about it till now. We were changing everything else. It was like
sold.
Well, it definitely. I agree with you. We can make that amendment, and that would also play into Billy's ineptitude and the way they perceive him, and like, why would you blame this on this little fuzzy cute guy? And the whole time he's going,
I like it. Amend it. Boom. We're done.
Like the crazy ones in the second movie.
So thankfully, this podcast is new enough that we can tag out amendments. I think that's going to do it, guys. It is time to reveal our final pitch. That is the summary of everything we've talked about. brought to you in glorious movie trailer form through the vocal stylings of Wayne Henderson, voiceover artist, available at mediavoiceovers.com. Let's just not waste any more time. I want to hear what our movie's going to be. Take it away, Wayne.
From the director of Wanted, Timur Bekmambetov, comes a retelling of an American classic. But this time, the rules have changed. Randall Peltzer is a struggling inventor from Kingston Falls, USA. A regular guy who needs a break. It finally comes in the form of his latest invention, a lightweight, timber-shredding chainsaw. To make the sale, though, he is forced to travel to the farthest reaches of Russia. What better way to make up for all those previously canceled trips than to take the family with him, right? Wrong. Dead wrong. While showing off his supercharged chainsaw to local lumberjacks, Peltzer hears the story of a mysterious mogwai that lives in the nearby hills, a creature with the face of a puppy and the voice of an angel. Wanting to make up for their disastrous family vacation in Soviet territory, Peltzer makes a fateful choice and steals a mogwai for his daughter Kate. Unfortunately for everyone, especially the malicious Mrs. Deagle, Kate's boyfriend Billy is along for the trip, and he's not very good at remembering these 3 simple mogwai rules. Keep them out of the light. Never get them wet. And most importantly, never, ever bring them near Bluetooth signals. Disobeying these rules can cause the mogwai to replicate at an alarming rate. As Billy is hunted, he is forced to team up with Kate and her dad to face the herd of vicious, yet adorable, beasts now destroying the Russian countryside. The family that brought death to Russia just might be the country's only hope. This Halloween, join Bryan Cranston, Jamie Alexander, Anton Yelchin, and Lily Tomlin for a modern reinvention of the Joe Dante classic. They're cute. They're mischievous. They're gremlins.
Thank you, Wayne. Once again, applause again. I love what Wayne does. I love what Wayne does. Anything you guys want to add about a Gremlins remake? Are you happy with our movie? Do you think Russia was the wrong way to go? I kind of do, but I'm still sticking to it.
No, I like it. I'm down with it. Especially the Gremlins poster. I'm just loving that. So,
Troy, are you happy with the way it turned out, or are you sad we stuck with Russia?
No, I'm good with the Gremlins too, but I think that makes it more comical. So almost has to be PG-13.
Yeah, but see, this is where we, like our discussion about marketing and stuff. It kind of looks silly. They think it'll be fun, and then you get them in there, and it's like, what the hell is this?
So now we're going Predator versus Aliens, except it's Gremlins versus Leprechaun.
I don't understand what that analogy meant. What?
Where's the leprechaun? Is that good or bad?
Where's the leprechauns at? I want to see Gremlins chewing fingers off. I want to see nub. I gotta see nubs of people's hands. That's what I got.
Somebody running out of their little hut, and their nose is missing, and Gremlin comes running out and spits it out.
All right. Well, what did you guys think? Did we nail it, or do you think you have a better pitch? Maybe something in America, perhaps.
I think Fat Amy said it best when she said, "Crushed it."
Email us your short pitch if you have one, or thoughts on this week's show to remakethismovie.right@gmail.com. That's remakethismovie.right@gmail.com. And we might mention your pitch on the next show. And in closing, once again, gotta say thank you to Wayne Henderson. Wayne, you do a great job with our voiceovers. He is a voiceover artist. If you ever need one, go to mediavoiceovers.com. He also does a few podcasts. He does the Voiceover Journey podcast, Packer Fan podcast, and Under the Dome Radio. Why do I sing it? Because they do. Artwork by Dustin Baker. Really appreciate you doing our logo, sir. Thank you for that. And you can always find our group. We have a Facebook group for Remake This Movie Right. As well, The Hollywood Outsider has a network group, so definitely go sign up for either one of those. The Facebook page that we have for Remake This Movie Right is really just something to guide you to the Facebook group. That's really where the community is going to grow, so I would go there and join. We're also on Twitter. Just started. There's not a whole lot there, but go to @RemakeRight. That's @RemakeRight. What about you guys? Brian, let's start with you. Where can we find you? Do you exist anywhere outside of here?
You can find me on Twitter at Brian, BrianWms. You can find me lurking around the Hollywood Outsider group on Facebook and, wherever, probably at work. I'll give you the address if you really want it that bad, but that's about it.
And Troy, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Troy Heinritz. That's Heinz Ketchup, Ritz Crackers, no Z in the middle. And because I got a whole bunch of crap out there, just go to about.me/Troy Heinritz and everything's out there for you to find.
And what are the podcasts you do again?
Under the Dome Radio, which is coming back shortly after you hear this episode, or already starting. And then, of course, the Blacklist Exposed will return in the fall, along with the Packers Fan Podcast when the NFL season kicks off for 2015.
That's a great team, by the way. I like them.
I think
Packers.
so.
Packers are good. I like them. Troy, I'll tell you what. You can do the outro. Take us out.
That'll do it for this episode of Remake This Movie Right. And the next movie you watch, just remember, it will be remade someday, and only you can make it better.